So, hey everyone, my name is Heidi. I recruit product managers, and I'm super pumped to be chatting today with my friend Handika Handoko. And I'm going to let him introduce himself because I want you to hear his story today. And so, Handika, tell us about, where you work, what you do, and what you're solving for today.
Yeah, I think thanks very much, Heidi, for considering me and actually taking the time to have a chat with me. Like Heidi said, like I think Heidi and I go quite way back, like from a professional relationship first, and then kind of moving on to on a more personal relationship as a friend now. So my name is Handika. I currently work as the Vice President of Software Engineering for Broadridge Financial Solutions. That's a global fintech leader. I work for a Canadian business unit where we cater to Canadian independent brokerage. So think of the solution that we're doing as a brokerage in a box. So if you ever in your lifetime want to, hey, maybe it's cool to open up a brokerage firm, you come to us and we'll set you up with everything that you need from front to back end. Well, I'm talking in tech lingo, but I feel like from front office to back office from a brokerage operations perspective, right? So that's kind of what my title and what I'm doing and where I'm working at. Currently, I'm focused on things that is what everyone else in the space is focusing on, kind of modernizing our tech stack, while at the same time trying to keep lights on, making sure that our clients are able to service their clients, their investors to reach their life goals. So that's kind of what we're trying to do in our day-to-day in our work.
Really mission critical, enterprise
Absolutely.
software. Yeah. And one of the reasons I was so excited to chat with you today is because you have a fascinating career where, you have been a very successful product management leader. You were in product for the majority of your career,
Yeah.
and then you made the decision to pivot into engineering. And so much of what we do in our product practices is working with product managers, also working with engineering leaders as well. And there's such an interesting relationship between these two critical functions of a software vendor. I'm curious what led you to making the decision to move out of product and into an engineering role.
Right. So for my case, I think that's not a very complicated answer, Heidi. If you look at my career, I did start as a developer. I did start as a programmer. So I've got my roots in programming, and I've always had the tinkering for technology. I've always kept myself up to date with advancements in technologies like advancements in blockchain. I'm trying to dabble in crypto space, advancements in AI. So those are just fascinating things. And I think people in the product space, they're most likely familiar with that Venn diagram, where as a product person, you got that intersection between knowing the business, knowing the technology, and knowing the UX, knowing the customer experience, right? So it's all still intertwined with each other. And once you're in the product space or the technology space, it's the lines do get blurred at some time. And so for me, I think I have the advantage and the benefit of knowing about the space, knowing about the technology, knowing about the business. So I'm more easily adaptable. And when the opportunity comes and shows up, which in life it's rare opportunity, right? It came, I feel like I could do a big contribution in the department. I could deliver value in that. That's why I made the jump back to my roots, if you will, into technology.
Yes, you sort of hinted there a little bit about how your career as a product manager really helps your career now as a vice president of engineering. Maybe expand on that a little bit more. How do you find product management skills translate into being a more effective vice president of engineering?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the product management space, you're definitely exposed more into the business side of things. So I like to think of all of us in the workspace are really working towards solving a big puzzle, right? So the more different roles that you've been in the space, in the organization, the better idea of a puzzle that you're trying to solve. So my knowledge in product management, I think really helped me to look at things from a business revenue client experience side of things, right? Like on the technology side of things, back then, like it was, oh, shiny new technology, let's go at it, let's give it a try, let's do it. And I think we still do that, we still experiment, we still innovate that way. But in terms of making it go to market, that's when I think the things that you learn from product management, product marketing really comes into play, right? Like, do we have a competitive edge there? What is the value prop we're trying to deliver? What is the problem we're trying to solve, right? I think that being in product for so long, that's been ingrained in me, that's always the things that I ask whenever we try to do things. And also helps with technology right now, when I hear from my people, hey, there's this new technology that we want to try, this is something cool that we want to play with, I could associate that with what clients have been saying, what the market's been saying, what the business needs, and I could more easily tie them back. Hey, we want to achieve this goal for our clients, for our business, and this is the technology that we think can support that, or will be the most efficient solution to achieve that. So I think that's kind of like how I would say it has helped me. It helps me complete the picture. It helps me to see the bigger picture, and I could kind of put every Lego pieces, if you will, and make the perfect solution.
Very well said. I love that it gives you the chance to really see that bigger picture, which is so critical
Exactly.
when you're a business leader, as you are now as a vice president of engineering.
Yeah.
Beautiful. A lot is said and talked about regarding the relationship and what a healthy relationship might look like between a product org and an engineering org. I think back to some of the searches that we've had where our clients will tell us, hey, this has largely been an engineering-led business.
Yes.
And we're trying to move it closer towards being product-led, or some other stakeholders might joke around and say, oh, the engineers, it's all about them and they're building whatever they want. And then product is trying to move that towards what the customer wants and what can be monetized. How do you define a healthy relationship between engineering and product? What does that look like? How might one move closer towards healthy relationships?
I think you got to start with respect, right? I think each side needs to respect what they bring to the table. I know, again, like going back to that Venn diagram, I think everyone in this space, be it you're more technology centric or more product centric, oftentimes they have similar skill sets, similar backgrounds. So one may think that they know more than the other, right? But then we've got our own swim lanes to be kind of like how to make this happen, right? So I think that mutual respect is really crucial to a healthy relationship. A firm, a startup, like you said, may start from an engineering centric kind of position, because that is what helped them cement their position in the market, right? They built something that solves a problem, and then as they grow, they do need that product management rigor, if you will, in terms of trying to build a project, building a product now, not building a project, right? Trying to build something that address a larger market, address a segment that actually you build it once and you serve a lot of people, or you solve a lot of problems multiple times, right? That's kind of like what product is there to do in terms of rigor. So I think technology and product, again, like they got to have that mutual respect. They got to understand that, yes, the guy that's leading technology may come from a product background, so they may say things about product, but again, like we've got a dedicated product. And likewise, the product person may come from an engineering background, and they may think, oh, this one's easy. You just do that. So that, I think that's where things get a little bit unhealthy, where you say that I could do whatever you are doing more easily. So that's where things break down, I find, right? So appreciate respect and appreciate what each other have to say, and kind of marching towards the same goal, right? We were all working towards solving problems, delivering value, making sure that our customers or users have a delightful experience, right?
I love how you summarized what you just said and in how you phrased it. Tell me if I got this right. Build it once and then solve for many people over time.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
If you think about vice presidents of product,
Yeah.
and that persona of individual in a software company, what might they not understand about the role of a VP of engineering and perhaps the struggle or the challenges that you're facing, that might benefit them to have some visibility into?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I think one of the challenges I think I face is that, like, in my day-to-day dealings, I deal with like all of my engineers who have aspirations, who do want to make sure they're not getting obsolete from a tech perspective, like in terms of what we use and what they want to learn, right? So I have to find that delicate balance between making sure that they're happy, they're growing, they're learning what they want, versus meeting the business needs, which typically comes from product, and that we need to build it this way, or we need to build it this technology kind of thing that helps answer whatever client needs, right? So sometimes those demands come strong. Sometimes that becomes a point of friction between us in saying, my set of people here, yes, I know they have this technology under their belt. They know about this, but they want to start to learn about new things. They want to start to learn about new technology. So I like to invite you to maybe take a risk and let's try this out. And then maybe we embrace a little bit of an agile methodology where let's give it a try. If it doesn't work, let's fail fast and pivot, right? So I think that's the part that maybe not to say that the leaders of product are heartless and they don't care about people, right? They do, but they just, I think they're closer to different aspects of the business, and that's where their interests are. But for me, my heart and my interest is always with my people and making sure that they're as happy as they can, so they can unleash their potential, right? And that's where the friction comes to balance making sure they get what they need versus what we need to deliver to our clients.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's end with some advice.
Yeah.
Let's think about the product manager in the market today, or the product leader who at this time in the market, there's so much hype around getting into product. It feels like everyone's, taking courses and classes and workshops, and they're writing books, and everything is about, getting into product. Yet there's a lot of folks out there who feel the pull to more of the engineering side,
right?
For different reasons. And maybe opportunities are opening up for them on the engineering side, but they're questioning, might that be the right move for me? What advice would you have for someone who's trying to kind of weigh those pros and cons and think about whether that could be, a great career move for them?
Based on my history, it's a little bit more difficult for me to kind of summarize what advice would I give to people in that situation, because my background, it was easy for me because I was pretty much in both roles most of the time, right? But for people that are like right now solely in product, they want to think about stepping outside. I think a good advice would be that they look themselves in the mirrors and look at what they bring right now. What is the asset that they have right now, right? I think it's always good to inventorize that and making sure that you own that and you know what you bring to your table, right? So that when you do want to try to embrace other stuff, you know that what you could lean on, and you know how you could compensate for what you don't know yet and what you're looking to learn with what you're good at. Right. So when you join a different team or a different organization, you know that, you're not great in that technology side yet, but you're compensating with what you bring in the table from your past experience. Right. So I think that's one advice. And the other advice is to start joining different groups. Like I know you and your firm created that, or helped with the Toronto Product Management Association. So that's one organization. And I'm sure if there's a product person with that sort of top, there's going to be more than that one product person with that some sort of top, right? So gather much, talk to other people with that are like-minded, and kind of figure out like how are you tackling this problem? How are you kind of like trying to discover yourself, I guess. I think that's kind of part of your question, right? And I think the last advice I would give is that like in the past, I was interested in consulting, but like for me to go into consulting, nobody's going to hire me, right? Or so I actually try to find pro bono opportunity to try out consulting, see whether that is something I would want to do, and maybe get my foot in the door of consulting firms, right? So that's what I did to try to expose myself, to try to learn and discover myself. Is that what I want to do, and to know more people, right? So to summarize, it's kind of take a look at your inventory of assets, join clubs, meetups, and whatever groups that you have with like-minded people, or maybe venture out to like a purely technological group. See, like, do you gel with the people, right? Like,
Yes.
at the end of it is the dynamics too, right? Like, if you gel with the people, you got chemistry, a lot of problems you can solve that, right? And last thing, try volunteering. Like, I know there's a lot of nonprofit that looks for people with maybe they need help building website. I know when what we do technology is vastly different, but depending on the spectrum of the product person, right, that might be where you start, right? So
Super advice. Thank you so much.
yeah,
Always a pleasure, Handika.
yeah,
Always a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much for the investment of your time
for sure.
today to share your insights with our community. And thank you. Thank you again.
Yeah, yeah. Feelings mutual, Heidi. Always great to chat with you.
All right.